probably no other life except DNA, you know.
Right, and on this Earth, no other form of life competed with this life. We haven't found a rock it's hiding under anywhere. The bottom of the ocean, it's still the same DNA molecule. Anywhere you go, it's still the same. Why isn't there another competing fucking life form living some fucking place hidden in a cave 3 miles deep? Why isn't there a different kind of life in that cave? Because no other competing life form ever existed. It only happened one fucking molecule in a gigantic ocean only one fucking time. One molecule, one fucking time.
There is probably, based on this, there is probably very safe to say that there is no other form of life except DNA. But it doesn't mean that.
Well, I'm just saying there's no other. I'm just saying on this planet itself, there's no second DNA molecule. There's no second DNA. DNA can do it a little bit different. The amino acids could be a little tiny bit different. One different change. Okay, you could have DNA life, but it could be a different generation of DNA life. And there is no different generation of DNA life. There's one generation. Everything that's alive today came from one fucking molecule.
Okay, who's talking now? Because I want to talk after him.
Well, let Lefty go. I'm going to get my coffee.
Oh, I can wait till you return, Gary. Did you have black underwear on? I mean, that just throws the whole life debate out the window. I mean, Gary in black underwear.
Yeah, it's better than the green one. Okay, then I can talk?
Go right ahead.
Okay, so accepting the possibility, or is like you said, okay, we don't really know if there is life outside the Earth. We will know pretty soon if there is life on Europa, at least that. We can see if there are some, unicellular organisms there. And if there are, then the odds of life being in the universe will be, much bigger than they are now. But the point is, even if there is life in the universe, even if the life will appear if the conditions are created, with the intelligent life, it's so much of another different story. I mean, not only the atmosphere, if you consider it, if there is the atmosphere, identical to the one on Earth, because if you look at Alpha Centauri solar system, is pretty similar to ours. But there has to be so many elements, like if there wasn't Jupiter, there would be no humankind, We didn't have an asteroid hitting the Earth in 65 million fucking years, just because of Jupiter, because everything that gets into the solar system gets into Jupiter, because the gravity is so big. So it has to be that. And even if there are conditions, and the solar system is exactly like ours, very similar, and life evolves, to evolve in the same time with us, it's pretty fucking impossible. We have only been here in this current form for like 30,000 years, which is really, really, really small. It's like you have this whole sky, and there are some stars going on and off. And to find that life, it would be really impossible. So I don't even know why this is such a heated debate.
Well, yeah, and that wouldn't matter either. But see, exactly the argument you just made is the argument I can make for abiogenesis. I can say there has to be a Jupiter circumstance, and a this circumstance, and a this circumstance in that sea. And if those circumstances don't exist in that sea, you're not going to have life if that sea sloshes around a gazillion, trillion, zillion years. It still isn't going to produce a reproducing molecule in a cellular membrane. It's not going to create a DNA reproducing whatever blueprint form of life that can do this evolution thing. It might produce something that can reproduce, but it won't be able to evolve. And that's the key. It was the DNA and the cell membrane being combined. And so that could be just like a Jupiter circumstance. That could be a really improbable circumstance. And you could have 700 of those. You could have 7,000. You could have 7 million of those improbable circumstances. And my argument is all the evidence points to that this is a very rare circumstance, because even when we know how the damn thing is built, pretty much, we still can't build one. With all our goddamn technology, with all our nano this and microbe that and quantum bullshit, we can't build one.
But that's an argument. I mean, I think the metaphor of life occurring, being similar to winning the lottery is accurate in the sense of one draw out of several million. But given the amount of draws there are going to be for the lottery and over how much time there's going to be to draw, I think it's almost certain that life exists in other places.
You still can't say it. Like I said, you just can't say it, because for every odd that I just made, if I make it a 1 in 10 billion lottery, I could make it a 1 in twice that, or 10 times that, or 100 times that, or 1,000,000 times that. Life could have actually occurred because lightning struck the same square foot of ocean 700 times in a row. That might be what happened. Now, maybe in the universe that only happens every 2 trillion universes, okay? And then you still only have the cell, and that cell could be squashed in a second. It could be consumed by other molecules. A fucking toxic molecule could have bumped into it and be dead before it even reproduces. So, I mean, you could have had your 700 lightning strikes, and your fucking molecule could have died right there.
Okay, but when my molecule dies right there on the 700 because of the sloshing, the continuing sloshing on the ocean will also give me chances for life in a different direction. So I think it's fair to say.
I just pointed out though that the 700 lightning strikes only happens in 2 trillion universes.
I get that you pointed it out. I would just maintain the argument that the amount of draws, even if we're not really sure
Again,
about
you're going to keep sitting there breaking the rules. I can change the odds. You're going to keep saying the amount of draws. I can make the amount of draws 10 zillion times more than the times you're rolling the dice. I can put more numbers on the dice than you could ever calculate in an entire lifetime. So your argument is always moot to the point that you can't do the math. You fucker.
Let me volume my moot argument, and if we're gonna put our hands on the baseball bat, if time is finite, then you're correct. But if time is infinite and potentially universes are constantly replicating,
I know, but we could still be the only one. We could still be the only time it happens because the odds are that preposterous. Even in an infinite universe, you can still have things that only happen one time.
Okay.
It can actually happen. That can actually happen in an infinite universe, that even though you infinite for infinity, it doesn't matter, because you're going to need like 5 zillion infinities to get the one thing to happen the one time that way, because you can always add an infinite number of little balls on top of my head. There. This universe did not happen twice. The universe where Gary put the battery on his head, that one didn't happen twice. It only happened once.
Okay, but if we're going to make a practical assertion or a bet, are we gonna bet that that's gonna be the only time that Gary puts the ball on his head in all of time, in all of infinity? That's the question.
I just said yes, because I can add an infinite number of batteries to the top of my head, so I can always outplay you. I can always do something more cartoonish to make it more improbable that I could ever fucking happen. But go ahead, Karina.
Gary, when you talk about the odds, you will only end up with a Drake equation. So don't talk about the odds. The thing is, I'm asking you now. It's like an honest question. Let's say that, in 3 years we do find life on Europa, and then 2 years after that we do find life on Titan because they will go there to stack out too. Will you accept the possibility that life in the universe is not something unlikely? Because I think that
but I'd love to bet you first. I'd love to bet somebody some real fucking money they're not gonna find no fucking reproducing molecule on no fucking Europa. It's a piece of goddamn shit. It's not even close to being a planet that does the amount of permutations that are likely to create goddamn life. It doesn't have the fucking chemistry to do it. So I say, yeah, no fucking chance you're gonna find life on Europa.
Well, that's what you say, but it's not based on something like, I can give you a million other opinions that say the exact opposite, but the thing is...
And they only say it though, Karina. Let's be honest about why they're doing it. Why are they saying it? They're doing it for the same reason they perverted the Drake equation, the same reason Carl Sagan perverted the Drake equation, sit there and present it and say, well, this is just fun we're playing, and then he talked about it like it was real math. It's not real math. Okay? They're doing it because